What's up, everybody? Badass Games. Welcome to my new walkthrough series for Resident Evil. This is the original Resident Evil for the PlayStation, the one that started the entire franchise, not the director's cut or anything, just the original Resident Evil. I'm going to be doing both the Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine storylines for the walkthrough. The first storyline we'll be going through is the Chris Redfield storyline.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of our mission.
You haven't found it?
No, I haven't found it yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo Team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Look, Chris!
It was Bravo Team's helicopter. Nobody was in it. But strangely, most of the equipment was still there. However, we soon discovered why.
Hey! Come here! Run for that house!
There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Jill, and myself. We don't know where Barry is.
Chris Redfield. Jill Valentine. Barry Burton. Rebecca Chambers. Albert Wesker. Resident Evil 1.
As you can see, we're dealing with some serious acting talent here. The voice acting is top-notch as well.
I don't know what happened.
Barry! Where's Barry?
Well, I'm sorry, but he's probably...
No. What is that?
I'll go and check.
Okay, Jill and I will stay in the hall in case of an emergency.
Chris? Take care.
Alright, so as you can see, we're going through a door. We're really going to get familiar with this little cutscene here by the time we get through this game for sure. Alright, let's go over some of the basics of this. First of all, I'm playing the Resident Evil original for the PlayStation, emulated on PC using EPSXE. I get a lot of questions on how I emulate this stuff, or how I'm playing these games, so there you go. Let's go over to the controls of the game. Basically, you always move in the direction that Chris or your character is facing, so forward is always directly in front of your character. Okay, turning left and right is all done. All this is done by using the D-pad. You can also walk backwards by you pressing back. Okay, and there's also combat moves, but we don't have a weapon equipped to show you any of that. So let's go into the menu to open them. Oh, I forgot to mention that you can run by holding the square button as well. You can't run backwards though. Alright, let's go into the menu. To do so, you press the start button. Okay, so this is your inventory or status screen. You'll notice in the lower left-hand corner, it says where it says combat knife, that shows you the item that you have selected in the inventory. Above that, you see a heart pulse monitor showing you basically how damaged you are, and you're fine right now. And then you have a portrait of the person you're playing to the left of that. To the right of the screen, you'll notice that there are 6 slots, and 3 of them are taking up right now. If you actually started a new game, then you'll only have the combat knife and the first aid spray. I have a special key because I have beaten the game. I actually did reload a game, and I'm going to be using this later only for some special reasons. But you may or may not have the special key in your inventory. Now, it doesn't matter if you have the special key or not, you're still going to follow this walkthrough, because when I use the special key, we actually have that extra inventory space anyway through the walkthrough. So, still follow the walkthrough, it's still going to be good, and you'll see what this key is for later. We'll end up dropping it off and then using it a little bit later. Now, the entire goal here, if you notice, I have 6 slots in my inventory, and that's all the items I can fit in my inventory, which makes this very difficult. What I'm trying to do is get all of the items while minimizing my transitions in between doors. If you remember, we came in the dining room, that door opening scene takes a lot of time, and so I want to try to minimize the number of times I transition from room to room. A couple of differences that you will notice between Chris and Jill Valentine. First of all, Chris has 6 inventory slots, like I was telling you, while Jill has 8 inventory slots, so she has an advantage there. She also has an advantage in the fact that she is able to use lockpicks, whereas Chris needs to carry keys, and since he has a limited amount of inventory space, that makes it a little bit more difficult to get through this. Also, Jill starts with the Beretta and a clip, so she already has ranged attacks. We only start with the combat knife, so we're kind of left a little defenseless in that respect. However, there is an advantage that Chris has over Jill, and that's the fact that he is a tank. He can take damage pretty much all day, and he'll be fine, basically. Not kind of exaggerating a little bit, but still, Chris can take a lot more damage than Jill. Jill's kind of a weak, I suppose, in that department. Okay, a couple of other things that you'll notice in this screen. We have a map button. We can go here, we can see a map of the areas we've been in. If it's green, then we've been there. If it's red, that's the place we are currently at. And we can get maps and everything. We can fill this out, which we will do here in a little bit. In this video, we'll actually get a map for the first floor, so I'll show you where that's at. Alright, also we have the file over here. We don't have anything in the files yet. If you notice, there will become tabs inside of the file on the books themselves. We'll actually have tabs in them to show you what files you have collected. We have 2 files here, and we kind of want to fill these up by the end of the game, so I'm going to show you where all of the files are as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and equip the combat knife so I can show you a couple of combat moves that you can become familiar with. Before I do that, though, let me show you that there is actually another screen that you can go to by holding the select button and then pressing start, and this will bring up an options screen. You can configure your controller or your sound and go from there. So there is that. Alright, so combat. Now, in order to get into combat, as you can see, I'm actually carrying the knife now. In order to use the knife, you have to hold the R1 button, and then you can turn around if there's any enemies to your side or behind you, but you cannot move up or down. If you notice, he's looking up and down as I press up and down. So basically, in order to attack, you press the X button on the PlayStation, okay, and that'll attack directly in front of you. Or you can modify your attack by holding the up button, pressing the attack button, or pressing down using the attack button. So you can attack up, down, and in the center. Alright, so that's cool. Now let me show you a little bit something about this game. If you notice, the camera is kind of fixed in this location. You can see where I'm at, but as soon as I change over to here, the camera moves and fixes itself in another location. That's kind of, basically it's telling you the camera angles are permanent and you can't fix them unless you change your location. So that's kind of, that kind of sucks, but it's actually good for the suspense, and you might actually get freaked out because of it later on, so it's actually a good move on their part. Alright, so let's go over here and let's see what we got. We had that clock, and if you notice, it kind of stood out. Like the graphics kind of say, hey, you know, I'm here. And then we also have this emblem right here that kind of does the same thing. And if you press the action button in front of it, he'll try to take it. I'm not going to take that just yet. I'm going to go ahead and leave that here. We'll come back to that later. But for now, what I want to do is I want to go into this room. This room is known as the Tea Room. Okay, we're going to find our first zombie in here. And remember, we don't have a gun. You're not required to kill any of the enemies in this game except for certain bosses. So you don't have to fight him. You can just find him and then run away if you want. But I'm going to show you a couple of tactics with the combat knife. He's hungry. Alright, let's get up on him real quick, see if I can't get any damage in on him. Alright, I got one hit on him. That's fine. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the shadows. I'm only watching the shadows to see how far these guys are from me. And it's kind of hard to put a quantity on the distance that he is from me, but if you pay attention, you might get used to the distance and be able to play yourself. So you can see exactly how far they are from me. Alright, so after a certain number of swipes, he goes down, but he's not dead. You can tell when they die if there is a blood splatter that moves out from the center of them as they fall down. Okay, so it takes about 3 or 4 swipes in order to put down the zombie. And if you know you're about to, at the end, oh gosh, I don't want to get bitten. If you know that you're about at the end of that 3 or 4 swipe mark, you can do an extra attack by pushing down. Alright, well, I didn't need to do it, but he is dead. As you can see, the blood spot moved out from the center of his body. Okay, let's go and inspect this thing. What was he eating? He's Kenneth from the Stars Bravo team. Now he's become a mere shadow of his former self. Poor guy. Alright, well, if we inspect his crotch a little bit further, we'll find that he was holding on to a couple clips that we can take with us. We don't have the gun yet, but the clips will come in handy for actually having ammunition when we get the gun. As you can see, having a clip takes an inventory slot, so now we only have 2 slots left. So that's going to be awesome. Alright, so let's go ahead and leave. And we're going to go back and try to tell Wesker what we found. By the way, all these other doors that we saw in there, they're all locked, so you can't go through any of them. This is the only way you can go. Let's leave and we'll go back into the main hall.
Wesker? Jill?
What happened to Jill and Wesker?
Well, regardless of what happened to him, Jill seemed to have left behind her pistol, so let's go ahead and use that to our advantage. We now have the Beretta. Yes, I will take the Beretta. Now we have a weapon we can use against some of these zombies. Alright, well, before we go anywhere else, let's go over here to this thing right here, this typewriter. This is what we can use to save our games, but most importantly, by the typewriter, we will find an ink ribbon. We need the ink ribbons to save our games. So let's go ahead and take that, and you can use it right now if you want to, but remember, each time you use an ink ribbon, you lose one. You just picked up 2, so you'll only have 1 left. I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to continue on through here. Now, there's a couple ways you can go from here. Both of them include climbing this step ladder and choosing a door, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this room right here real quick. This is sort of an optional thing. You don't necessarily need to go in here, but there's an ink ribbon and the first floor map in here that we might as well take with us. So let's go over here and interact with some of these objects that are in this room. As you can see, these fine shaped objects, like this thing right here, is movable. Now, in order to move an item, an object like this that is movable, you simply move your character directly in front of it, and then you just hold forward, and then he'll eventually push it up against whatever you're trying to get it to go to. Alright, use the X button to climb up and take a map of the first floor. Yes, I do want the map of the first floor. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Mansion, first floor. So there is the mansion for the first floor. That's awesome. Alright, let's go back down here. This thing right here is also movable, and it's blocking this thing right here. Let's go in here and see what's going on. Alright, so there's a zombie on the ground. Let's see if I can't get any sticks off on him. Of course, he's probably just going to grab my foot. Well, I can just go around him. Whatever. Let's take this ink ribbon. Now we have 4 ink ribbons. We can save a total of 4 times now. Let's see. Oh, nope, he got me. Whenever you get bit by a zombie and grabbed like that, you need to spam like every single button on the controller until you are free of the zombie. Otherwise, the zombie will continue to bite you until you die. Usually they get 1 or 2 bites off on you, but sometimes they get 3, so keep that in mind. Alright, so this door over here is locked. It's locked. A carving of a sword. Okay, if, unfortunately we don't have lockpicks and we're not able to open doors that have carvings of swords near them. Jill has that ability, but we do not, as Chris Redfield. Let's go through this door, and this door right here is also locked. A carving of armor. So we have a sword and armor. That's kind of interesting. It tells you a little bit of how to actually unlock the door. Well, we will have those keys that we need later on in the game. So, alright, so let's climb these steps, which is what you might have done to begin with. Alright, and like I said, there's 2 ways you can go. You can either go to the left or to the right. I'm going to go ahead and go to the right because I'm going to go get the chemical first. And then I'm going to go to the left, to the east side of the mansion, and basically take care of everything over there once I have the chemical. Alright, now there's a couple zombies in here. Take them out however you feel. It's really difficult to get a good distance to see exactly how far you are from these guys in here, but we're going to try to get rid of this guy anyway. Alright, once I do a slash, I'm also stepping forward once. There is that downward slash quick thing I was trying to do earlier. Alright, so I'm going to stick him again, and then let's back up to try to get some more slices in on this guy. Now, using the knife is very difficult, so if you're having a hard time, do not feel bad. And I'm trying to give you some pointers on how to use this. I haven't showed you everything, I haven't told you everything that I've done yet, but see if I can get this guy down. Oh, he got me. Spam it. So that's the 2nd time I've gotten bit. Oh, 3rd time. Alright, so, but fortunately he's a tank. I'm having a hard time seeing those shadows in that view, so I'm gonna back off. Downward slice, downward slice. Good, good. Usually those downward slices work pretty good. I don't know if this guy's dead yet. Yeah, he's gone. I'm walking through his corpse, so. Okay, so after I take my first initial slash, I'm taking 4 steps backwards. That puts you at a good distance to get a good slice at him again. If you do 3 or less, then he might actually get a bite off on you, so be careful. It's all about distance, it's all about trying to get as far away and trying to get them in that sweet spot. There is a really, really tight sweet spot that they need to be in order to hit them, so I wish the best of luck to you. Like I said, you don't need to kill these guys, you don't have to use the knife. I'm just trying to give you guys as much pointers as I can if you want to get good at using the knife. Slice at them, take 4 steps back, 2, 3, 4, wait, slice, slice. Let's do some downward slices. Oh, get out of there. That was close. He's down. Get a good distance. I'm having a hard time judging that distance a little bit. Here he comes. So, I won't be doing this for all the enemies. I'm just trying to basically show you guys good tactics on how to use the combat knife. It's a very difficult weapon to use, and most people will just put it in their thing, in their box, as soon as they get to one. But I think it's actually quite a good weapon if you know how to use it properly. I know this is slow and tedious. There he is, he's dead. Okay, now all these doors in here are all locked. All the doors that I passed by are all locked. 2 of them required armor, or 2 of them showed an engraving of armor, and the other one that I just passed is locked from the other side. This is the only door we can go through, but we go into the, this is the small library, and it contains a botany book. This is one of the things that we're going to throw into our file. If you want to read it, then go ahead and do that. Just pause the video on each of the pages so that way you can check it out. Botany book has been filed. Alright, so let's take a look at our file now. If you notice, I have a green tab in the upper section of this file, and we can look at our Botany Book again if we want to. So like I said, we'll be collecting all the files and all that stuff, so that's excellent. Alright, let's go through this door this time. I unlocked it. Now, if you were to try this door on the other side, it would actually say that the doorknob is missing, and just by unlocking it does not make the doorknob show up. So you still can't go through that door. Keep that in mind because you're about to fight some zombies. We take out the gun. 4 shots is usually enough to put them on the ground. While they're on the ground, you might as well take your knife out and stab them. Back up, get some distance, pull out that weapon again. Alright, so in order to shoot the pistol and actually hit the thing, it's not too hard to use. It's, you would think that you gotta aim decently, but the aiming system is actually very, forgiving in this game. So, as long as you're pointing in the general direction of your enemy, you're bound to hit them. So this guy right here, let me pull out the gun again. We don't really necessarily need to take these guys out, but it's kind of fun too at the same time. Let's equip the weapon. Stab this guy. Let's go ahead and try to take him out with the knife. Oh, he throws up. That's not good. If he's a puker, then you might as well just try to take him out with the gun. I got 3 shots left. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that dropped him, so take the gun out again, or the knife. He's dead. Alright, now there is one zombie down here at the end of the hallway, but I'm not going to deal with him just now. Let's go ahead and name him, though. He's Joe. Joe, we'll be back, sir. We will deal with you at a later date. Let's go down these stairs now. We're about to find our first save room where we can actually store a bunch of items. But we still have another zombie in our way. Now remember, this is survival horror. You are going to want to save some of your weapons and some of your ammunition for later enemies and later boss fights. If you feel like you're good with the knife, then you can go ahead and kill them that way, but I still highly recommend you saving some ammunition. Get that slice off, back up. Oh, he's too close. And he's a puker, I might as well just use the weapon. It's nice to have these guys out of the way too. It makes it so that way later in the game you don't have to deal with them. Now you notice the green herb on the ground. I don't have enough inventory to pick it up right now, but you can go ahead and pick it up if you want. If you started a new game, you don't have the special key, you can pick that up. It's still not going to affect the walkthrough because I will be getting that on the way out. Now let's go ahead and open this store box. All right. Let's go ahead and put some of the stuff that we're not going to be using into it. I'm not going to carry around the first aid spray. I'll go ahead and keep the gun and the weapon, and let's take out these 2 clips that come inside of the box, okay? We can combine these so that way we have them all stacked together and not taking up extra inventory slots. Let's also pick up this chemical that's on the ground right here that comes inside of this room. Will you take the chemical? Yes, I will. Alright, and let's also examine this thing because see if you notice in the lower left-hand corner of the screen it says chemical. Well, if we actually check the chemical, a chemical to kill the weeds, it's actually herbicide. Now, checking objects in this game, checking items, is kind of a big deal because they tell you clues on what kind of puzzle they solve. This is an herbicide. If you knew it was just as a chemical, then you might not understand exactly what it's for. And we'll see this later in the game when we get to it. Alright, I held on to my ink ribbons because I'm going to come over here and save my game and end this video. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching my first video for the Resident Evil walkthrough series, and I cannot wait to finish this series. We're going all the way with this, guys. We're going all the Resident Evil games just like I'm doing with Tomb Raider. So, thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.